Hey guys, it's Quickie Baby, and I'm playing in the VK4502B. This is the Tier 9 German heavy tank, but it is not the E75. If you're looking for a tank which is as good as the E75, then this isn't the thing for you, in my opinion, and that could be quite controversial. Now, what the strengths of this tank are, is the fact that because it has a rear-mounted turret, we're able to side-scrape fairly successfully. And the main weaknesses of this tank are the fact that it's got quite poor gun depression compared to the E75, which reduces its flexibility in some situations. However, because we're playing on Runeberg, we don't really need that gun depression, and so the added flexibility would be completely irrelevant really in most situations. So, we're in a fairly nasty matchup here. It's a 46%er, and as you can see, they've got some rather dangerous Tier 10 tanks. A very experienced E100 Jagdpanzer player and an IS-7 as well as a rather nasty Tier 10 artillery, so we're going to be having to watch out for him. Now, immediately we can see that the enemy are being very aggressive in the F3 area. We can see the IS-7 is there, the T-30. I'm trying to get distance so that they don't see where I am, and as you can see, I'm trying to hide the lower plate. And that's because the lower plate on this tank, as you can see here, this is what I mean when I say the lower plate, is completely garbage, unless you angle it very well against low caliber guns. So, great. We managed to get the ambush off against the Su-101 there. We shot his tracks, took his tracks off and forced him to use his repair kit. So, immediately, VK4502B, this is the kind of shot that the enemies had there, just to show you exactly. I love this new kind of camera angling that they have. This is the exact shot that T-30 just had. He made it, he aimed for my cupola, he missed the cupola, but he hit the top of the tank, and it penned me. So don't think that your turret is invincible, especially considering the horrible cupola that you have on top of this tank. And as we can see, I got wrecked for 709 damage, also killing my commander. I put my commander back in because he's rather useful. You don't have much view range without your commander, and he adds just a little bit to the extra crew. Now, this T-30, I've had enough of him. I'm going to make sure he's not putting in any more 700 alpha shots into me. Now, what you see me doing here is quite interesting. You saw me kind of wiggle a little bit and then angle my armor, because this, in my opinion, is the most effective way to angle the VK if you've just got people randomly shooting you from the front. I might be over-angling a touch here. The way that I'd like to angle it is angle the gun like this, and I feel that that is the most effective angle, because if it's like this, they can't really penetrate your side, there's a good chance they catch your track, and you're giving as much angle as you can to your lower plate without making your side armor very flat, which they're easily able to penetrate. So always think about angling when you're driving these German heavies. If you don't angle in a German heavy, you're basically playing it wrong, and you're going to die very quickly and be nearly useless for your team, because it's really your strong armor that really makes this tank a possible carry tank. So again, you see me finding the angle here and just reversing round. I've maybe angled a little too much in that situation. We're looking for a kill here. So you can see me angling as I side scrape around this corner here. I'm just going to show you from the angle of when you see me side scraping. I think the IS-3 is going to poke. Here we have an IS-7 coming around the corner as well. He's not quite interested in us right yet. Going to keep an eye on him. And there we go, there's my side scraping angle. Just to show you what I look like from the front. That, in my opinion, is the best way to give yourself the optimum chance to bounce. Now, I tunnel visioned a little bit there. I didn't see the fact that my team had let these guys come around the back. But we're going to side scrape again and punish this guy. We take off his track. Doesn't look like he's still got his repair kit, and now you're going to see me side scraping in the VK4502B. He's still tracked, he doesn't have a repair crew, that's not very intelligent. Now you see me side scrape a bounce there from the T95. I'm going to kill him first. I don't want him running around, and the T95 is going nowhere quickly. So we're going to side scrape again. We're looking for the cupola of the T95. That's where we need to hit him if we want to be able to penetrate him successfully, unless we can catch his lower plate at a decent angle. go. Lovely, big, juicy weak points. Boom. Now remember, the reload on this tank is rather long, so you really need to aim your shots quite carefully. You maybe saw me aiming a little longer there than I needed to, but really this T-95 is going nowhere quickly, so it gives me extra time. And there we go, that's all she wrote for the enemy T-95. So this game's looking fairly okay for a 46%er now. We've got 2 of our tier 10s left. The enemy have got 3. But with this IS-7 approaching me, maybe we can deal with him. So in this kind of a matchup in the VK4502B, I just like to stay alive, keep harassing, don't be too aggressive, because this tank really does not like to get shot in the side. You saw what it was like when that, I think it's a tier 7 or tier 8 medium, wasn't it? That tier 8 medium derped me in the side, shaving off quite a lot of my health. But now I feel like it's time to push. Using the miracles of XPM, we can see that this IS-7 has probably got nobody left covering his flank, and he's one of their best players. So I want to start to make a move on him. Put a huge shot into him there and start to pull back. Now you see me kind of reverse angling here. Now that was very interesting. This is a great example of VK4502. Look at that. Confused the hell out of this guy with my reverse angling, which I was doing pretty much perfectly. He couldn't penetrate my side armor there. All he needed to do was to hit the back of my tank, but I was reversing it rather quickly behind the Jagdtiger. Got myself out of a sticky situation using the back of my tank, and he just takes my track off. Great result for me. Fortunately, I get slapped in the side by the IS-3, but it was totally worth it to be able to get rid of that IS-7. See me reverse side scraping again here, looking for that shot on the IS-3. I had to fire clutch because the Jagdtiger was about to block my shot. That Jagdtiger just totally sucked out. He got a bit too confident there and got slapped in the side by a very dangerous tier 9 French auto-loader, the 5120. Now the Jagdtiger is valiantly trying to chase down that IS-3, but I'm going to try and deal with this 5120. Really nice alpha damage on these German tier 9 tanks. 490 is very healthy, it's just the rate of fire you've got to deal with. But in these kind of situations, the rate of fire is not such a big deal. Alright, so, let's pause it here. We can see a very serious tank coming down the road here. That is the E100 Jagdpanzer. That is one of the most dangerous tier 10 TDs frontally. I'm not going to let that worry me. Let's start side scraping. One right into the lower plate, hold my ground. Try and side scrape here. He's not interested in me, I'm looking at where he's aiming and he's not interested in me. He's fired, so I know I've got a free shot. Oh, great result. That was one of their other best players in a tier 10 tank, taken out fairly quickly. And now I think the game's looking like fairly good. Fair enough, they've got some dangerous ISU-152s which really can decimate any tank. And unfortunately, I just looked at IE-100 and he's fairly low on health. So, doesn't look like he'll be around for much longer, but hopefully he can give it a good go. Now, I heard this ISU-152 fire, so I'm just going to YOLO around the corner. No use in playing passively right now. That guy's got a long reload, and he's probably still reloading even now. I unfortunately shoot his track clutch. The VK4502 donks his shot completely against a stationary target. I wanted to kind of, I guess I was aiming for the lower plate and not the track there, but I hit the track. I want to kill this guy and not the Centurion 1. If I'm angling my armor well, the Centurion 1 basically has no chance of penetrating me frontally. And this game's definitely on now. Here we go. I wish I hadn't donked that shell against that ISU-152 and allowed my friend to lose a lot of his health, but we can't have it all. Okay, so the E100's coming back from base now, and unfortunately there's a very nasty Russian tank destroyer, the Su-122-54, making his way towards the Panther II. I totally donk a shell there. It was quite a tricky shot. It looks like there was some rubble in the way, and I shoot the rubble, and my shot flies true straight into the rubble. And oh god, this game just turned around very quickly. The 5120 assassinated our E100. I fire clutch there, because I realize there's a bloomin' 5120 coming around the corner at me. and it's time to go down with the ship. Full health ISU 152. Oh dear. Trying to get him to donk his shell. Hope the VK helps me. This guy YOLOs because he realizes the gravity of the situation. I tried to get him to miss, but he doesn't. But I am taking you out with me, son. And I tried to angle my armor there well, but the SU-122-54 nails me on the move. So, that was a brutal loss, but hopefully I showcased a bit of the VK4502B there for you. Let's take a look at some post-game stats. So here's that defeat in the VK4502 Alps B. We can see it was our mastery badge for a defeat. Great result. I was really happy about that. God bless 8.8 and the fantastic opportunity to get that courageous resistance and even earn mastery badges on deserved defeats. That's why I was really happy to pick up the top gun there against the 5120 Venry. Very, very honorable of him to be able to allow me to pick up that top gun. So we can see we're able to do 5,200 damage there, more than any of my team. Double what 90% of my team were able to get. So we hit 17 out of 18 shots, and of those 17, 16 penetrated, giving us over 5,000 damage. We took 12 hits, of which 6 penetrated, giving us a potential damage received of over 5,000. I gave this game a good go. At one point I tunnel visioned. Maybe I didn't strike hard enough on the map, but I really feel it was more a case of some of the lower members of my team not really pulling their weight. So what do I think of the VK4502P Alps B? I think that on maps like this, it can be used pretty much the same as an E75, and nobody can deny the side scraping of this tank. However, don't be fooled, the turret armor it's alright, but really high caliber guns, generally the ones that you have to side scrape against, can still easily penetrate the top of the tank. I really quite strongly dislike this tank actually. It's not a pleasure to play at all. It's slow, it's lumbering, it's got low DPM, it's got pretty poor side armor unless it gets a miracle matchup, and it feels like it's just a poor E75 in my opinion. I feel like there's no reason why the E75 should get gun depression, whereas this tank doesn't. Obviously from a physical stance you can tell because the fact that the hull armor is so long, so the gun probably couldn't go down that far. But from a balance point of view, the E75 just gets so much more gun depression, it just makes it so much more flexible. I almost think that removing some of the frontal weak points of the turret of this tank might make it more balanced, because really that's all that this tank has, is really good frontal side scrape armor, but it still makes its very long hull very vulnerable from the side and the rear. It's easily flanked and it's got a terrible traverse speed. It's not the fastest tank in the game. Really, the only reason why you'd want to be playing this is if you want to get to the mouse. But I'm not going to go into too much detail because I will be eventually doing a quick tank review of this tank when I feel like I've played it a lot more and I've probably reached the mouse. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider rating it down below, I'd really appreciate it. And tell me what you think of the VK4502P Alps B. Do you think it's as bad as I'm making it out to be and everyone else thinks it is? Is there anyone out there who's crazy enough to think this is superior than, for example, the E75? Let me know. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic. Hopefully I'll see you soon.